The signal's echo. The quantum detection array beneath the Atacama Desert had never registered anything like it before. Dr. Elena Torres stared at her holographic display, her dark eyes reflecting the pulsing patterns of an impossible signal. The message wasn't traveling through normal spacetime. It was propagating through quantum fields themselves, carrying information faster than light. Director Chen needs to see this immediately, she whispered, her fingers already flying across the haptic interface. The signal's complexity was beyond anything humanity had achieved. Yet its purpose was unmistakable, a cry for help, encoded in the fabric of reality itself. Within hours, the underground facility transformed into a hub of frenzied activity. Military personnel in crisp uniforms moved with purpose through corridors usually populated by physicists and astronomers. In the central command center, Director Sarah Chen stood before a wall of holographic displays, her silver-streaked hair pulled back tightly as she studied the signal's patterns. "You're certain about the translation, Dr. Torres?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. Elena had spent the last decade developing Earth's quantum communication protocols. If anyone could decode this message, it was her. "Yes, Director. The base language structure is unlike anything we've seen, but the mathematical principles are universal. They're calling themselves the Meridians, and they're being hunted." Elena projected a series of three-dimensional star charts. Their civilization spans multiple systems in the Carina Arm, but they're being systematically attacked by something they call the Void Hunters. The room fell silent as footage began playing across the screens, quantum-encoded video showing massive ships of impossible darkness tearing through advanced defensive systems like paper. The Meridian vessels, beautiful crystalline structures that seemed to dance through space, were being methodically destroyed. "They're not just asking for help," Elena continued, her voice tight. "They're warning us. The Void Hunters are moving through the galaxy, consuming every advanced civilization they encounter. The Meridians believe Earth will be targeted within the next decade." Director Chen's expression remained carefully neutral, but her fingers tightened almost imperceptibly on the edge of her console. "How did they find us? Why send the warning to Earth specifically?" "They've been watching us, Director. They say our recent quantum communication experiments caught their attention. We're the first species they've encountered who might understand their message." Elena paused, bringing up another data stream. "There's more. The Meridians believe we have something they lack, something that might help defeat the Void Hunters." "And what's that?" "Unpredictability. Creativity. They've observed our history, our art, our warfare. The Meridians are more technologically advanced, but they're bound by rigid patterns of thought. The Void Hunters exploit these patterns, but humans—" Elena allowed herself a small smile. "We're chaos incarnate." Director Chen turned to Admiral James Harrison, who had been silently observing from the corner. "Your assessment." The Admiral stepped forward, his weathered face grave. "The United Defense Fleet isn't just for show, Director. We've been preparing for first contact for decades. The Hyperion-class vessels are ready. If the Meridians are telling the truth, we can't afford to wait until the Void Hunters reach Earth. We need to take the fight to them. And if it's a trap," Chen's voice was steel, "then humanity will give them one hell of a surprise." Harrison's smile was sharp. "The quantum drive modifications we've been testing on the UES Hyperion, they're not just for faster travel. Dr. Torres's team has turned them into weapons that can tear holes in reality itself." Chen turned back to the displays, watching the endless loop of destruction. Humanity had just discovered it wasn't alone in the universe, and their first contact was a desperate plea for help against an enemy that consumed civilizations. The decision weighing on her shoulders would change the course of human history. "How long until the fleet can be ready?" she asked. "The Hyperion can launch within 48 hours. The rest of the fleet will take a week to fully mobilize," Harrison replied. "We can send the Hyperion ahead with a skeleton crew. Dr. Torres's presence would be essential for maintaining quantum communications." Elena felt her heart race. She was a scientist, not a soldier, but she had spent years dreaming of the stars. Now those dreams were becoming reality in the most unexpected way. "Make it happen," Chen ordered. "But understand this, if we commit to this, we commit fully. Humanity is about to step onto the galactic stage, and we need to show exactly what we're capable of. Dr. Torres, you have 24 hours to gather everything you need. Admiral Harrison, brief your crew. We're about to fight a war unlike anything in human history." As the room erupted into activity, Elena found herself staring at the quantum signal, still pulsing its desperate message across the cosmos. Humanity had built its fleet hoping they would never need it, preparing for a future they weren't sure would come. Now that future had arrived, carried on a quantum wave from a dying civilization. The war for survival was about to begin, and humanity's greatest test would be fought not just with weapons and ships, but with the unpredictable, untamable creativity that made them unique among the stars. In the depths of space, the Void Hunters continued their relentless advance, unaware that their next prey was about to change the rules of the game. Humanity was coming, and they were bringing chaos to the cosmic order. Fleet rising. The UES Hyperion hung in low Earth orbit like a sword unsheathed, its crystalline quantum arrays catching the light of the rising sun. From the observation deck, Dr. Elena Torres watched as supply shuttles swarmed around the massive vessel, each one bringing essential equipment for their unprecedented mission. "Impressive, isn't she?" Admiral Harrison's voice came from behind her. 17 kilometers of advanced alloys, quantum computers, and enough firepower to level a continent. And that's before we factor in your modifications. Elena turned from the window, her reflection overlaying the ship beyond. "The quantum resonance chambers are stable, but we've never tested them at the scale we're planning. The simulations suggest we can create localized ruptures in space-time. But we're betting humanity's future on theoretical physics," Harrison finished. "Welcome to the bleeding edge, Doctor. Speaking of which, your team is ready for the final calibrations." The walk to the quantum core took them through the heart of the Hyperion. Crew members saluted as they passed, their faces a mixture of determination and barely concealed anxiety. Everyone aboard knew the stakes. They were humanity's first line of defense, venturing into unknown space to face an enemy that consumed civilizations. The quantum core itself was a marvel of human engineering. A sphere of pure energy hung suspended in a magnetic containment field, its surface rippling with patterns that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Around it, Elena's team worked at various control stations, making final adjustments to the systems that would turn this experimental technology into a weapon. "Dr. Torres," called out Dr. Marcus Wong, her chief assistant. "The resonance patterns are holding steady at 99.7% efficiency. We've never achieved stability like this before." Elena studied the readings, a small smile playing at her lips. The Meridian signal taught us more than just their location. Their quantum technology operates on principles we barely understood 6 months ago. Now we're not just copying it, we're improving on it. "And weaponizing it," Harrison added. "Show me what we can expect when we engage the enemy." Elena gestured at the holographic display, bringing up a simulation of the Hyperion in combat. "The quantum resonance chambers can create localized distortions in spacetime. When we target an enemy vessel, we can literally tear reality apart around them. No shields, no armor, nothing can protect against the fabric of space itself being weaponized." "The cost?" Harrison's eyes narrowed. "Each firing depletes our quantum reserves by roughly 15%. We'll need time to recharge between shots, and if we push the system too hard." Elena let the implication hang in the air. Harrison nodded grimly. "So we'll have to make each shot count." A sudden alert blared through the ship's communications. "Admiral Harrison to the bridge. Priority message from Earth Command." The bridge of the Hyperion was a testament to human ingenuity. Holographic displays provided a 360-degree view of space around the ship, while quantum sensors reached out far beyond normal detection range. Captain Sarah Chen, Director Chen's daughter and the Hyperion's commanding officer stood at the central console. "The rest of the fleet is ready," she reported as Harrison and Elena entered. 6 Titan-class battleships, 12 Perseus-class cruisers, and their support vessels. But we've got a problem. The main display showed a quantum signal analysis. Elena felt her blood run cold as she recognized the pattern. Another distress signal. "No," Captain Chen's voice was tight. "The Meridians are under attack. Right now. Their quantum transmission network is being systematically destroyed. We're losing our window of opportunity." Harrison didn't hesitate. "How many ships can be ready for immediate departure?" "Just us. The rest of the fleet needs at least another 48 hours. The Hyperion was always meant to go first," Harrison said, turning to Elena. "Doctor, can your quantum drive get us there in time?" Elena's mind raced through calculations. "The experimental drive can create a quantum tunnel through space-time. We should be able to reach the Meridian home system in just under 72 hours. But we've never attempted a jump of this magnitude. The alternative is waiting for the fleet and arriving too late." Harrison's decision was visible in his stance before he spoke. "Captain Chen, begin launch sequence. Dr. Torres, prepare the quantum drive. We're about to make history." As alerts sounded throughout the massive ship, Elena felt the weight of the moment. They were about to attempt humanity's first faster-than-light jump, rushing to the aid of an alien civilization, with experimental weapons and untested technology. The rational part of her mind screamed that this was madness. But as she watched the Earth slowly shrink behind them, another part of her understood. This was humanity at its finest, rushing headlong into the unknown, betting everything on their ability to overcome impossible odds through sheer determination and innovative thinking. "Quantum drive spooling up," she reported, watching the energy levels climb. "Preparing to generate quantum tunnel in 3, 2, 1. The universe seemed to hold its breath. Then, with a flash of light that bent reality itself, the UES Hyperion vanished from Earth orbit, carrying humanity's hopes and dreams toward their first interstellar war. Behind them, the rest of the fleet began their preparations, knowing they would need to follow as quickly as possible. But for now, the fate of 2 civilizations rested on a single ship and its crew, racing against time through a quantum tunnel toward destiny. First contact. The quantum tunnel collapsed with a silent flash, and the UES Hyperion emerged into chaos. The Meridian home system was a battlefield, its space lit by the death throes of crystalline ships and the consuming darkness of their hunters. Multiple contacts. Lieutenant Park's voice cut through the tension on the bridge. Meridian vessels on defensive patterns, heavily damaged. Hostile forces, reading 37 capital ships of unknown configuration. Dr. Elena Torres stared at the sensor readings in horror. The Void Hunter ships seemed to drink in light itself, their surfaces a writhing mass of darkness that defied analysis. They moved with terrifying precision, cutting through the Meridian fleet's formation like a scalpel through flesh. Quantum communications detecting multiple distress signals, she reported, fingers flying across her console. The Meridian's defensive grid is failing. Their orbital stations are already gone. Admiral Harrison's voice carried the weight of centuries of human military tradition. "Captain Chen, bring us in." Battle stations. Dr. Torres, prepare the quantum weapon system. The Hyperion's hull thrummed as weapon systems powered up. They were about to announce humanity's arrival on the galactic stage, and they intended to make an impression. Incoming transmission from the Meridian fleet, Lieutenant Park announced, converting quantum signal to audio. A voice filled the bridge, its tones musical yet filled with desperation. "Unknown vessel, you must flee. The Void Hunters cannot be stopped. Save yourselves." "This is Admiral James Harrison of the United Earth ship Hyperion." Harrison responded, his voice steady. "We received your distress call. We're here to help." There was a pause, then, You are the humans. You came." The surprise in the alien voice was palpable. "But you are not ready. Your technology." "We'll have to be ready," Harrison cut in. "Dr. Torres, target the nearest Void Hunter vessel. Show them what humanity brings to the fight." Alina's hands moved across the quantum controls, feeling the power build in the resonance chambers. The targeting system locked onto a Void Hunter ship that was bearing down on a crippled Meridian cruiser. "Quantum weapon charge," she announced. "Firing." Space itself screamed. There was no other way to describe it. Where the quantum beam struck, reality tore open. The Void Hunter ship didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist, pulled apart at the quantum level as space-time briefly forgot how to hold itself together. Silence fell across all channels. Both Meridian and Void Hunter ships seemed to pause, processing what they had just witnessed. Then the Void Hunters responded. As one, their fleet turned toward the Hyperion, their darkness seeming to deepen. The message was clear. They had found a worthy opponent. "Multiple hostile contacts on attack vector," Park reported, his voice tense. "They're adapting their formation. Whatever they're planning, they're afraid." Alina interrupted, studying the quantum readings. "Look at their energy signatures. They've never seen anything like our quantum weapon. They don't know how to defend against it." Harrison's smile was fierce. "Then let's press that advantage. Captain Chen, Battle Plan Delta. Keep us moving. Dr. Torres, target their command ship." The Hyperion surged forward, its advanced engines pushing it through space with impossible agility for a ship its size. The quantum weapon fired again and again, each shot tearing holes in reality and the Void Hunters' fleet. But the enemy was learning. Their ships began moving in patterns that made targeting difficult, and their own weapons, beams of pure darkness that seemed to consume everything they touched, started prodding the Hyperion's defenses. "Shields holding at 82%, Park reported. "But their weapons are adapting. Each hit is more effective than the last." A new voice cut through the battle chatter. A Meridian commander, their tone filled with renewed hope. "Incredible. You've done more damage in minutes than we achieved in months. But be warned, the Void Hunters are a collective consciousness. They learn from every encounter." "Then we'll have to learn faster," Harrison responded. "Dr. Torres, what are you seeing?" Alina's mind raced as she analyzed the quantum data streaming across her displays. Their ships are quantum entangled. They're sharing information instantaneously. But that connection, it could be their weakness. She turned to Harrison, her eyes bright with realization. "If we modify the quantum weapon to target their entanglement pattern instead of physical spacetime, we could disrupt their entire fleet at once." Harrison finished. "Do it." The battle raged on as Alina and her team worked frantically to reconfigure the quantum weapon. The Hyperion danced through space, its conventional weapons holding the Void Hunters at bay while taking hit after hit. "Shields at 47%, Park announced. "We can't take much more of this." "Almost there," Alina muttered, making final adjustments. The quantum core pulsed with power as she input the new targeting parameters. "Admiral, I have a lock on their quantum network. But this will drain all our weapon energy. We get one shot." Harrison looked at Captain Chen, who nodded grimly. "The shields won't hold much longer anyway. Take the shot, Doctor. Let's show these hunters what happens when they prey on the wrong species." Alina took a deep breath and activated the modified quantum weapon. The energy beam that lanced out from the Hyperion was different this time. Instead of tearing space apart, it resonated through the quantum field itself. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, one by one, the Void Hunter ships began to shudder. Their perfect coordination faltered. The darkness that defined them started to fragment. "Their quantum network is collapsing," Alina reported, watching in amazement. "They're losing their collective consciousness. They can't coordinate their actions." The Meridian fleet, recognizing the opportunity, surged forward. Their crystalline ships, though damaged, still carried formidable weaponry. Without their perfect coordination, the Void Hunters' remaining vessels fell quickly to the combined human and Meridian assault. As the last enemy ship vanished into quantum fire, a new signal reached the Hyperion. Not a distress call this time, but a symphony of gratitude from the Meridian fleet. "You have done the impossible," the Meridian commander transmitted. But this was only one fleet. "The Void Hunters will return, stronger and adapted to your weapons. We must prepare." Harrison looked at his battered but unbowed crew. "Then we'll be ready. The rest of Earth's fleet is coming. And now we know something crucial. The Void Hunters can be beaten." Elena stared at the quantum readings from the battle, already seeing patterns and possibilities for improving their weapons. Humanity had passed its first test in interstellar warfare, but she knew this was just the beginning. The real war was about to begin. The counterstrike. The crystalline spires of the Meridian Command Center rose like frozen music, their surfaces rippling with quantum information patterns. Dr. Elena Torres stood before the combined Human Meridian War Council, her holographic presentation showing the analysis of the recent battle. "The Void Hunters aren't just ships or weapons," she explained, gesturing to the quantum readings. "They're a networked intelligence that exists primarily in quantum space. Their physical forms are just anchors for their true consciousness." The Meridian High Commander, a being of shifting crystal and light named Vorax, moved forward. Their form caught the light in ways that made Elena's eyes water. "This is why our conventional weapons proved ineffective. We were fighting shadows while the real enemy existed between spaces." Admiral Harrison, now joined by the commanders of Earth's newly arrived fleet, nodded grimly. But Dr. Torres's quantum weapon didn't just disrupt their ships, it damaged their collective consciousness. "The question is, can we track them back to their source?" "We believe we can," Elena replied, bringing up a new hologram. "During the battle, we detected quantum entanglement threads leading to a specific point in space. The Void Hunters aren't just connected to each other. They're all connected to something else. Something bigger." The hologram showed a region of space far beyond the Meridian system, where normal space and quantum space seemed to blur together. Captain Chen, her uniform still bearing scorch marks from the recent battle, leaned forward to study it. "That's their home," she said softly. "Their nest." More than that, Vorax's crystalline form pulsed with emotion. "We believe it is their creator. The Void Hunters are not a natural evolution. They are weapons created by something that exists in the quantum realm itself." The revelation sent murmurs through the assembled commanders. Elena felt a chill run down her spine as she processed the implications. "You're saying someone engineered a quantum-based species specifically to hunt and destroy advanced civilizations? Who would have that kind of technology?" "We don't know," Vorax admitted. "Our histories speak of an ancient race that mastered quantum mechanics to the point where they could exist simultaneously in normal and quantum space. They vanished eons ago, leaving only myths, and perhaps these hunters." Harrison's expression hardened. "Well, they made one crucial mistake. They never expected their hunters to encounter a species that could fight them in quantum space itself. Dr. Torres, what would happen if we used your weapon directly on their source?" Elena ran the calculations quickly, her mind racing through the possibilities. "If we could get close enough, we might be able to collapse their entire quantum network at once, but the energy requirements would be massive. We'd need every quantum-capable ship we have, perfectly synchronized. And we'd have to get past their combined fleet to do it," Captain Chen added. "They'll be expecting our quantum weapons now. They'll have adapted." "Then we'll adapt faster," Harrison declared. "The Hyperion proved that humanity and Meridian technology can work together. Now we have an entire fleet ready to be upgraded. Commander Vorax, if your engineers can help us modify our ships." The crystalline being's form brightened. "We would be honored. Your quantum technology is crude by our standards, but you use it in ways we never imagined. Together, perhaps we can create something new." The next week passed in a blur of activity. Elena worked alongside Meridian quantum engineers, their different approaches to physics creating innovations that neither species could have developed alone. The Earth fleet's ships were fitted with hybrid quantum weapons, while the Meridian vessels incorporated human tactical systems. Finally, the combined fleet was ready. 47 Earth ships and 32 surviving Meridian vessels, all modified with new quantum hybrid technology. They gathered at the edge of the Meridian system, preparing for the most ambitious military operation in human history. Admiral Harrison stood on the Hyperion's bridge, addressing the assembled fleet. "We know they'll be waiting for us. We know they've adapted to our previous tactics. But they don't understand what makes humanity different. We don't just adapt, we innovate, we create. And today, we're going to show them why that makes us dangerous." Elena sat at her station, monitoring the quantum synchronization between the fleet's ships. The plan was audacious. They would use the ships' combined quantum weapons to tear open a massive quantum tunnel, allowing them to bypass the Void Hunters' defensive fleets entirely and strike directly at their source. "Quantum synchronization at 98.9%, she reported. "All ships showing green for the jump. Meridian vessels in position." Vorax's voice came through the quantum comm. "We are ready." Harrison took one last look at the tactical display, then nodded. "All ships, commence Operation Lightbringer." Dr. Torres, open the tunnel. Elena activated the synchronized quantum arrays. Energy poured from every ship in the fleet, combining into a single massive quantum beam. Space itself shuddered as the largest artificial quantum tunnel in history began to form. Through her instruments, Elena detected the Void Hunters reacting to their attack. Hundreds of their ships were converging on their position, but they would be too late. The tunnel was already forming. "Quantum tunnel stabilizing," she announced, her voice tense with concentration. "We have a direct path to their source. But there's something else. I'm detecting quantum patterns I've never seen before. Whatever created the Void Hunters, it's active. It knows we're coming." Harrison's smile was grim. "Good. It's time it learned that not every species can be hunted. All ships, prepare for quantum jump. Today, we take the fight to them." The combined fleet surged forward into the quantum tunnel, leaving normal space behind. They were about to confront not just the Void Hunters, but the ancient intelligence that had created them. The final battle for survival was about to begin. Legacy of Two Worlds. The quantum tunnel shattered around the combined fleet, revealing a sight that defied comprehension. Where they expected to find a base or a planet, they instead faced a living quantum storm, a vast, writhing mass of energy and darkness that existed in both normal and quantum space simultaneously. "By all that's sacred," Vorax's voice whispered across the quantum comm. The legends were true. The quantum ascended. They didn't vanish. They transformed. Dr. Elena Torres stared at her readings in awe and horror. The quantum patterns were unlike anything she had ever seen, yet somehow familiar. It's like looking at the Void Hunter's quantum signature, but infinitely more complex. This is their creator. The entity before them pulsed, and suddenly every quantum sensor in the fleet screamed with activity. A voice spoke directly into their minds, carried on waves of quantum energy. "You should not be here. You are not reality." Admiral Harrison stood firm on the Hyperion's bridge. "We're here because you sent your hunters after peaceful civilizations. We're here to end this. The hunters are our gift. They see you the unworthy. Those who cannot trancc in the physical form do not deserve to evolve." Elena's mind raced as she processed the entity's words. "Admiral, the quantum patterns, they're similar to our weapons, but reversed. The Void Hunters weren't just weapons. They were tests. The quantum ascended are looking for species capable of manipulating quantum space." "Your understanding is incomplete," the entity responded. "We seek those who can join us in Tyrannus in DNC. The MEORIDIANS works helos, but they BCA stagnant. You, humans, you are DIFFE or int. Unpredictable. dangerous. Suddenly, the space around them erupted with activity. Void Hunter ships emerged from quantum space by the hundreds, surrounding the fleet. But they didn't attack. They waited. UAAV-2 choices. Join US in ascension, or be eliminated. Your QUANTUM weapons ROVU are ready to begin the transformation. Captain Chen's voice was tight with controlled anger. You're offering to help us transcend, after trying to destroy our allies. Evolution requires pressure. Survival demands strength. The hunters forge greatness through HFY. Harrison looked at Elena, a silent question in his eyes. She nodded, understanding passing between them. You know what your mistake was. Harrison addressed the entity. You forgot that evolution isn't just about pressure. It's about cooperation, adaptation, innovation. Elena's fingers flew across her console as she spoke. The Meridians taught us about quantum physics. We taught them about unpredictability. Apart, neither of us could fight your hunters. Together, she hit the final command sequence. We can do this. The combined fleet's quantum weapons activated simultaneously, but not to attack. Instead, they created a complex web of quantum fields, linking every ship in patterns that mimicked the Void Hunter's own network. Now, Harrison commanded. Energy poured from the human and Meridian ships, their quantum weapons firing not at the entity or its hunters, but into the space between them. Elena's modifications, combined with Meridian quantum engineering, didn't tear space apart. They rewrote it. The entity's voice thundered through their minds. What are you doing? Showing you real evolution, Elena answered, watching as her quantum calculations played out exactly as planned. You exist in quantum space. Fine. We'll change the rules of quantum space itself. The web of quantum energy created by the fleet began to reshape the very fabric of reality around them. The Void Hunters' network started to fragment, their perfect unity disrupted by the changing quantum laws. Impossible. Quantum mechanics are absolute. Nothing is absolute, Harrison responded. That's what you never understood. Life isn't about reaching some final, perfect form. It's about constant change, adaptation, growth. Humanity doesn't want to transcend physical form. We want to explore it, understand it, push its boundaries. The entity's form began to fluctuate as the changed quantum laws affected its own existence. The Void Hunters, cut off from their network, started to fade from both normal and quantum space. You would read GCT ASCN Scion. Read GCT PRFACTION. We reject your version of perfection, Vorax declared, the Meridian ships adding their power to the quantum web. True perfection is found in diversity, in cooperation, in the blend of different approaches and ideas. The entity's vast form convulsed as the altered quantum space began to tear its consciousness apart. You cannot. We already have, Elena said softly, watching as her readings showed the entity's quantum pattern dissolving. You wanted to find species worthy of transcendence. Look around. Humanity and the Meridians, working together, just rewrote the laws of quantum physics, not to destroy or dominate, but to protect and preserve. The entity's form collapsed in on itself, its consciousness fragmenting across the changed quantum space. The Void Hunters vanished with it, their quantum signatures fading to nothing. In the end, the beings that had sought to force evolution through fear were themselves evolved out of existence by the very cooperation they had dismissed. As the quantum storm cleared, Elena looked at her readings one last time. The quantum changes are stabilizing. The entity and the Void Hunters, they're gone. We did it. Harrison surveyed the combined fleet, human and Meridian ships floating together in the newly quieted space. No, Doctor. We're just beginning. We've proven that humanity has a place among the stars, not as conquerors or ascended beings, but as explorers, innovators, and allies. Vorax's voice came through the quantum comm. their crystalline form glowing with new patterns. Our civilizations have much to learn from each other. Perhaps that is the true evolution the quantum ascended should have sought. Elena smiled as she watched the quantum readings settle into new, stable patterns. Humanity had faced its first major interstellar crisis, not through overwhelming force or technological superiority, but through innovation, cooperation, and the uniquely human ability to change the rules when the existing ones didn't work. As the fleet prepared for their return journey, Elena knew that this was just the beginning. The galaxy was vast, filled with wonders and dangers they had yet to imagine. But humanity had proven itself ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Not alone, but together with their new allies, ready to forge a future that neither species could have imagined on their own.